Laura isn't able to be here today, so Elizabeth, would you do the honors of chairing the meeting?
I'll give it a college try.
I'm confident.
It was definitely my opinion that we shouldn't have photos without Laura present, so if you didn't comb your hair today, then you can thank me for that.
Yeah,
right. I didn't have to give it to the
So at the 2:15, we'll call the meeting of the Merrill Enrichment Center Committee to order. And the first order of business is committee member reappointments. Tammy, any updates?
Yes, thankfully everybody is staying. So thank you for that. I feel like we have a really strong, diverse group. So I'm looking forward to the next year. However, on that note, Laura would like to know if anybody else would like to take the chair position.
Do you have any idea? Well, can you give us a quick description of exactly what it entails so people know what they're getting themselves into?
Oh, I could have printed out the document that I had received. It's basically leading the discussion, making sure it's following all of the rules that of a organized committee. Can you share anything more than that? It's
Robert's rules.
Robert's rules.
Do you make the agenda solely by yourself, or does the president have to make that in or the chair?
I do make it by myself, but I would welcome any, usually at the end of our meetings, we say for next month, let's try to get this on. But if you think of something prior to that, I would love all that input and guidance to add something on as well. So I don't know that it has ever been that's a procedure or a policy that's followed, but I would welcome that.
Isn't there one requirement?
Pardon?
Isn't there one requirement that we be done in half an hour?
Today?
Isn't that a requirement?
45 minutes would be great, like by 3. Today, specifically.
Does that mean you're volunteering?
I know. Specifically today, we should try shoot for 3 o'clock.
Does Laura not want to do it, or is she just being generous and offering it up?
So to be honest, she's always been a little concerned that she's not doing things properly. Although I feel she is, she would prefer somebody, I think.
She's staying on the committee?
Yes, she's staying on the committee, but her preference would be for somebody else to.
That's her preference.
She's been doing this for a while, so that's her preference.
But she's been very good.
I think so too. Yeah.
I mean,
so if anybody else would like to take that on, that would be great.
When does that chair appointment begin? In the next 5 minutes?
April.
Darn.
But you're subbing today, so if you do well.
I know, I thought I could get out of it in 5 minutes if they wanted to be there.
We can decide by the end of the meeting, and then I can make that change and let Mayor Haas know.
I mean, you can tell Laura, we all think she's doing a fine job.
Yeah. I did tell her
that.
And she might continue, but I think she'd prefer if someone else would like to do it. So I'm just the relayer of the message.
Does anyone need to pad their resume?
Or obituary?
Or their obituary, that's what I was thinking of.
I wasn't going to go there.
Maxine just told me, you gotta tell me what you've done in your life. I
want to know what you've accomplished in the last week. 5 things.
5 things, okay.
Put them in writing.
Otherwise, you're done.
So
otherwise you're out of here.
Would you like to assume that?
If nobody's ready to do that, you can let me know prior to the next meeting.
I guess let's Laura just see one more time, knowing that she has a vote of confidence.
Okay.
Right? Wouldn't you say that?
So twist Laura's arm, turn the camera off,
Okay.
twist Laura's arm, and if she's not willing to do it, then one of us will
figure it
So
out.
I'm just going to say everybody's supportive of you and what you've done to this point to remain the chair.
Maybe it would help if we made a motion to that effect. Would that help her? A vote of confidence?
I don't think we need a motion. I think I will just relay the message.
That's a vote of confidence.
Yes, vote of confidence.
Yes.
I will write in those
confidence.
There you go.
But I mean, if she has some other reason and wants to get out of it,
And how long has she had the responsibility?
Oh, I think, how many years has she been with me? 5 or so, and I think maybe only the first year she wasn't. So
Wow.
yeah, it's been
it seems, yeah.
She got kind of railroaded into it.
I would
Yeah.
say it's reasonable for her to feel like
To
she should be able
request.
to pass the baton.
Yeah, but if she feels,
Yeah.
yeah, then
Yeah.
I guess kind of let us just know that, Tammy.
I
We'll
will.
double her pay.
Okay.
Boy, I better move to the
I'll
next
talk to
item.
Mr. Muller's mayor, see if that's a possibility. Oh, okay, all right.
0 times the infinity is the same.
Is that
Yeah,
gonna work?
yeah, that's how it works.
So we'll
I
move to
forget my
consent
math.
items in order to forestall that
Yes,
conversation.
yes.
So the first item of business then is the approval of the February 25th meeting minutes, which some of you may have.
I'd move approval of them.
Second.
Is there any discussion of those minutes? Any corrections, amendments? Hearing none, I will call it. Is all in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
Any opposed? So, passes by voice vote. Excellent. And then the approval of the February, March 2025 vouchers, which have been circled around and a few people have initialed them for Tammy. Did everyone have a chance to take a look at those?
Question, 500 something for wreaths, is that just because everything is falling apart?
Yes, so last year we purchased little crosses from Walmart
Okay.
because the cost of the wreaths were so expensive and time-wise was not
Oh,
working
yeah.
with us, because usually we have people help put the flowers on and everything. But this year we were able to get the wreaths from Michael's, and they had a great sale. They're only a 12-inch wreath, but they're sufficient, and they probably work better because you're supposed to put them really close to the headstones that you're
Yeah.
putting them. The other ones were kind of big and a little bit, but we still have the posts that were made for us. So we don't have to buy the post, just the wreath. So we'll see if, I'd like to have these last a couple years if we could. If not, we'll just have to keep an eye out. But we do have that memorial fund for a few things, and that is one of them, but that's a good
I
question.
guess I didn't know we were doing wreaths. Wreaths for what?
Forever, before my time even here, what the center has done is placed memorial wreaths at the graves of those who have been passed for so many years that there's no family left,
Okay.
just in honor of those people who,
I
the
see.
older graves. Yeah, way in the back we start of the cemetery, then we move forward. So the ones that are dilapidated or 100 years old or whatever else, we will randomly go and place some wreaths on those graves. Which I think that's a great,
Right.
I agree.
I would assume there's more of those graves than we have wreaths, though.
Yes, I think we probably have 50-60%, but there's still more that we could do.
Okay.
So we'd have to get some more poles made from that company.
But it's a chunk of time, because you guys go out and do that.
Yes, we do. So, we take the bus or the vehicles and fill them up and go over there, and we go and place them.
Mhm.
Which I really
Then you pick them up,
actually
isn't it?
enjoy.
You
And then
pick-
we have to go and pick them up before the date that they give us to pick them up and get them out of there. Or they throw them away, which we found out years ago and have to go get them out. We were a little late. Not again. So yes. So it's a wonderful program. So yes, so thanks for asking.
So if people have had a chance to look at the vouchers, is there a motion to approve them?
I'll move approval.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay.
Great.
Okay, so we have
Now there's conversation.
Carol and Sharon?
Yes.
Okay. The one thing I wanted to point out on here is there's soda with a little asterisk cost in there. So we had requests from many of our people who come for activities, and they wanted us, because we had some left over from an event that we had, so we sold them to them for like $1 or something, and they were like, can we just have that often? And I'm like, ooh, let me do a cost calculation on that. So Vicki had picked some up from Sam's Club. We picked the ones that weren't available at Sam's Club up from Walmart, and we're charging $1 a bottle, still making money. So, yeah, and they like it. So it's one little thing we can do to keep them coming.
Right.
Yeah, so that's what that was.
Yes. Any other discussion of the vouchers? Hearing none, all in favor of approval?
Aye.
Any opposed? So again, voice vote passes. Great. Is there, I don't know if there's anybody online,
For public comment?
right? Is there anybody for public comment?
Coming in.
Somebody has a comment. Somebody heard you, Elizabeth.
I spoke louder than I thought.
Well, you asked.
Yeah, I did. So,
It's a spam call.
Oh, of course it is.
of course. All right, so there is no public comment this month. Are there updates for the ADRC?
I did not
Yes,
receive it.
I am on.
Oh,
Oh.
yay.
Brilliant.
Sorry, yep, I do have a couple updates to share. So not a ton of updates, but I do, we have been focused very much on our WASA move. So the ADRC office relocated in March just last week. We were actually located over by 2510 restaurant area, and now we moved over to the Lakeview Drive campus. I don't know if any of you are familiar with that, but it's over by like the Wausau airport. So that was a week full of fun and many weeks leading up to that move. But we finally are settled in our new space, which is nice. And so that was our big updates. And then I just wanted to mention too that we do have Aging Advocacy Days coming up May 13th. So if anyone's interested in attending that, it will be held in Madison at the Capitol. And it's just really an opportunity to advocate for issues impacting older adults and caregivers. So the days actually kind of divided up into two sessions. There's an AM session, which just kind of helps you prepare in talking with your legislators. So they kind of introduce the topics that they'll be focusing on. And then just how do you talk to your legislators? That's kind of the AM session. And then the PM session is when we walk over to the Capitol and actually participate in pre-scheduled visits with some of our legislators and talk about those issues and how they impact you and how they impact the community. So we will definitely be talking about like our Meals on Wheels, changes and things like that. And then there is like a pre-advocacy training too on May 7th. Again, that's another opportunity to kind of introduce the topics and help you prepare to go. It's really a great day if you've never been to Aging Advocacy Days or any of the advocacy days. It really is a fun day and just again an opportunity to spread the word on some of the issues that are impacting our communities. So I just wanted to mention that registration is open, and I believe, let me just look here, I have it open. Registration is open through April 25th. So you can hop on the Aging Advocacy Days website and register there. I think that's all I have, just because we have been so focused on our move that there's not a lot to share this month other than those two big things. Does anyone have questions at all?
I do, Jennifer. This is Elizabeth McCrae.
Okay.
And I'm just curious, do you know that our local legislators will be present and available on that day? Like, have you contacted Mary Felskowski and Calvin Callahan to see if they will be available?
I don't know that. Usually there is somebody represented. Like last year when I went, they had somebody represented from their offices. So I think they do try to make that a priority. But I think there are times, when something pops up and they're not able to. I don't know if you're able to find that out in advance or not. I would have to ask about that.
Okay. Nope, that's all right. I just wondered if you already knew. Thank you.
That's good to know.
Yeah. No. Yep.
Great. Is that everything then?
Could I ask, are we functioning still as a separate entity? Or are we molded into Marathon County primarily?
Did you hear that, Jennifer?
Well, yeah, I think, so we are still a 4-county region, so the ADRC of Central Wisconsin still covers Lincoln, Langley, Marathon, and Wood County. But Marathon County oversees like our fiscal, so like our paychecks all come from Marathon County, if that makes sense. But like our IT support comes from Lincoln County, so we kind of share resources among our 4-county region, but we're still a 4-county region, even with our move and those changes, if that answers your question.
Well, only insofar as I know Marathon County is big enough to kind of basically assume a total responsibility for some things when they get involved. At least that's the history of some of this stuff. When we get involved with a big part of what Marathon County is doing, we seem to lose our own identity. So that's why I asked. Did this decision?
Oh, okay.
Did this decision come about because of a reference request by the rest of the counties, or was this something that was in the works for a while?
Our Wausau move?
Yeah.
Is that what you're asking about?
Yeah.
Actually, the campus that we've relocated to, they're trying to make it kind of like a one-stop shop for people. So really, there's been a lot of agencies that have moved over to this building. So the health department's over here, Parks and Recreation will have social services, UW Extension is over here. So there's just a lot of the North Central Healthcare here as well, and social services. So a lot of kind of a one-stop shop where people can come and access all the services if they needed to, was really kind of the big thought process behind it. But the building needed to be revamped. So we were actually, the ADRC was housed in this building prior to our move over to the 2510 area. And then because there were so many building issues, they remodeled this entire space and then are trying to get people back in this area. It's nice because the bus lines all go out this way as well. And so hopefully people have access to everything they need.
Anybody else?
Does that answer your question, Jean? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, that was very good.
Okay.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Any other? Jennifer, just one last question, which is, last month there were changes that were on the horizon for Meals on Wheels. How's the program doing, and do you foresee any other things we need to be aware of?
No, I mean, not that I know of in terms of like the funding. I know there has been some talk, and I think Erin's been prepping some grants, writing some grants to help offset some costs. I don't know a lot about that, so I'm not going to speak too much on that, but I do know that there has been some conversation about trying to find some other funding sources. We are still in the process of kind of notifying all of our counties of the changes. So I think Lincoln County has all been taken care of, and I think they're working on some of like Marshfield area, Wood County next. But it's a process in terms of letting people know what's going on and those changes. So I know they're kind of in the midst of all that right now.
Great. All right. Excellent. Thank you. Anybody else have any questions for Jennifer?
No, thank you.
I think we are good. Thank you for your updates.
Thanks, Jennifer.
Sure, thank you.
All right. So we move on to operations and the D-stash.
Yes.
Right.
So with the MEC's two sections, we have 30 people were included in that in the two tables. But yes, we have that many. So a few started coming in even last week and into this week. So we're very excited. We when I was on vacation, the girls started cleaning closets. I was thrilled. And now I'm helping more, and now they're nervous. And they're like, oh, don't let her touch this section. But it's really, really refreshing. We're marking all of our things too. So we'll be bringing in some money to the MEC. And people are excited about it. If you looked at the photo news today, Tina was kind enough I reached out to her to see, because it is something new to the area, if she'd be willing to do a feature article, and she did. What I will say on record is that she quoted me. That was not me, that was Vicki. So I took and I said, here's what Vicki had written, and then she said, Marachek said, I didn't say that. So the credit goes to Vicki for, first of all, identifying something new to bring to the area and exciting, and then organizing it and bringing in all the registrations and writing up what went in the paper. So yes, so we're really excited that she was willing to do that. I reached out to Polka Dotted Pie to see if they'd be willing to serve some lunch completely on their terms. They bring things, they handle it. And they messaged me the other day that said, yes, we will. So I'm very excited that they're going to do that. So we thought 10 to 2, we don't really need food. And it's like, wait, it's 10 to 2. Probably need some food. So it's nice to have somebody else take that on instead of us having to do it. Because we're going to be running our booth as well. And maybe the shop, we're still deciding on that. So we're super excited about it. So we'll see what it brings. Now we need people to shop. Steph I think she went out to pick up our signs. That was a last minute thought. Yes, and so we have signs that we'll put in snowbanks for the spring cleaning closet event, and hope that they stay in the ground. So they were great. The premiere was great because we gave them our information a little later than we normally do, because time snuck up on us, and we're like, we need our signs this week. So we're very excited about the event and hope that people will get here to shop. We're thinking shopping is going to happen between all of the tables that are here as well. But we're hoping that, we're hoping that we get the public in here too to just snoop it out and see what it's about.
And the weatherman cooperates.
And that.
Yeah, really.
Yes. Please.
Excellent.
Please.
Well, we're looking forward to it. If you ever held a rummage sale and did it with a friend, you end up buying half of your friend's stuff. So you're ready for it.
Isn't that the truth?
Excellent.
Oh my God.
Looking forward to it.
Yes.
So what about workshops this month?
Okay, so if you turn to page 7 of the April newsletter, you'll see that coming up we have,
We have a couple.
well, the ADRC,
At least.
we're trying to really push this. So
Thank you.
if you know anybody who can benefit from the ADRC's offering Boost Your Brain and Memory, the
What
thing
page are you on?
it's 7, I'm sorry. It's a 7-week commitment. They eliminated, it was supposed to be 8 weeks with a recap. But that's quite the time commitment for people. So they said they could do week 7 and 8 kind of together. So right now we only have 2 people registered, and they probably would prefer a minimum of 6. So if we can find and recruit people to try to commit to that, it's from 1 to 3 o'clock, starting April 2nd through May 14th.
Those are Wednesday.
Mm-hmm. And then in May, we have some Hogum coming to start with their summer session. So May 21st from 1 to 3 is Power of Attorney. June 11th is Long-Term Care and Medicaid, and Estate Planning is June 26th. Walking Home is a new offering from us. We all know Gigi, our yoga instructor. She is branching out into another venture, and this is Walking Home is what she's calling it. And basically it's making sure that people have everything in order for end of life. Some things that she's been through recently and stuff I think may have triggered. And so having, your power of attorney, all of those things that we don't really want to think about. So she's going to be offering that in April on the 17th from 1 to 2:30. And she has a couple people signed up already for that. Then we are very glad to have Mary Klug back with her insurance agency talking about Medicare, and it's educational. She has, the April date is the 22nd. She has a date in May and a date in June. Yeah, so very happy to partner with individuals and corporations to continue to offer these for our community.
Just curious,
Mhm.
Klug, are we, is the center having her come in as she was the first person in the door to offer this, or how do you make those decisions? I
Great
guess?
question. Yes, she reached out to us. We have had other organizations like ADRC. Who is at the ADRC? Mary. She has come down for Medicare and workshops, but her schedule doesn't allow her to come anymore. But this Mary came to me and said, "Can I offer someone?" I'm like, "Sure." We would be open to having anybody come.
I guess because she's an insurance agent
Mhm.
is what I'm asking,
Mhm.
though, so she can not hear but can sell her product. We have a Cordova and a
Mhm.
Diamond and that kind of
Yes,
thing.
yes, no, that's a good point. And we can certainly open, like, when I reach out for workshops, I reach out to many.
Okay.
And then actually, Sharon, did you recommend Mary maybe, or she?
I did,
Yes.
because she was giving educational seminars at Riverside Athletic Club. This was 5, 6, 7 years ago or so, and I went to one of those, and it was really helpful for me coming up, on Medicare.
Mhm.
She wasn't selling any products or anything. She just wanted people educating about the timeline, when to sign up, and that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
And I mean, she does write for a lot of different.
Mhm.
I still work with her for my Medicare, but she writes for like Security Health Plan, Anthem.
And I have
Aspirus,
it's a
all
very
of
good,
that.
valid question. I have reached
Mhm.
out to almost every agency in town to give them the opportunity to come and present workshops. For instance, Edward Jones too, and I just reach out to all. And I can do that. Again, coming into the summer seems to be a little easier, I think, for people to come to these too. So for our next, 6 months or so, I'll continue to reach out to other places to see if they'd like to come and present. Hogum, same thing. And what I do tell them, it reminded me when they had reached out, I said, well, you can't really sell things here. You can provide information and let them know that wherever they go for that information, here's the information. So I was very clear with him on that as well, and he's really great about that. He's like, wherever you go, just get your affairs in order. So they kind of all have that understanding of that. So, very good question.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, and so if you have a connection, like Sharon had a connection of some sort, any one of you have connections, just send them to me, because then we can get those, whether it's a phone call or they want to stop in, and we can get them on the workshop schedule.
Nice.
Yeah, the more the better.
Excellent, thank you. Okay, and that sort of went from workshops to new class offerings. What's in the pipeline?
Okay. So we have, I'm going back now, under class as well. Laura, who isn't, able to be here today, she ran her wool dryer ball class, and it's ridiculously popular, and so she had to add another one. It was really cute. Somebody said, "What are wool dryer balls? Like, why do we need those?" But well, first of all, they're not just plain wool dryer balls. They look like they're pretty. You almost don't want to use them. But I think people really enjoyed working with wool, like just in general. And she had this little bowl thing too that she had out of wool. So I'm thinking that this class will, if she wishes, will continue, and besides the wool dryer balls, even though that was so popular, that she was able to schedule another class, and then there's another one at the end of April. The spring decor class is new, and our one and only Miss Stephanie is going to be offering that. She created those things at home, and so she, or here and home, I forget, but she is going to be offering that on April 14th. And you can either make one of the cute spring boxes or the board. And then the jars, the little wine, used to be wine jars, are courtesy of Carol. And she brought them in, and they were sitting there, and then I told the girls, you got to get your creative juices flowing here, because I'm sure there's some things we can do with that. So those are for Carol.
They're too pretty to throw
They're so
out.
pretty.
Oh, and they had wine in them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you need to resupply,
Yeah.
we'll have our next meeting with the girls.
I'll bring treats out of the
Right.
That's a really good idea. So there's a couple of new offerings, and we always are looking for new offerings, I think, just as a note. So again, if you know friend groups that you have, acquaintances that have a talent that they would like to share. Teaching is always a scary word, we've said forever, but if they just want to share their talent. I had Renee Smith in here from my Parkinson's group. I had to really pull her in to introduce to the group. I had read an article on the Parkinson's and the brain and the connection with doing like painting or watercolor or whatever. So she was kind enough to come in, and it was a really great session, and she did wonderful. So I'm hopeful that that was like ease in for her, that she will come and possibly teach some watercolor classes as well. And the Parkinson's group just really enjoyed it. I sent them all back home with extra paper and a watercolor kit with the brush and everything, so that they could also work on it at home, because that definitely helps the connection for them. So that was great too. So hopefully she'll be willing to offer some classes. So yes, we have a lot of great things on the horizon for classes coming up this summer as well.
Very nice. All right. And group offerings.
Yeah, so we have a new one. We were approached, and it's not in the calendar yet. I think it'll be coming in May. It was an email that I had received. There's a new, her name is escaping me, I'm sorry, from the ADRC. She's a community, kind of an outreach person. And there was a
Katie Denton?
Yes, thank you. Yes, thank you, Jennifer. She's wonderful. And then a lady who's a kind of a pastor, but she had an idea for a grief book study. So she had just emailed me out of the blue and said, this came to me, and I would like to just get together to discuss it. So we all met, and we have a really good initial brainstorm list of what this would look like. So now she's taking it back, and the two of them are going to try to correspond and try to figure out how this would look. Like we have our book club each month, but this would be based on grief. And grief is such a huge umbrella. You could be grieving a number of different things. But she's using a book as a means of discussion to get that going. So she didn't even really know. So when we sat down, the girls and I sat down, we're like, okay, so tell us about it. And she's like, I'm not really even sure. I'm not sure. Like, I don't know. This one thought came to me, and I thought, I need you to talk through this with me, and then the representative from ADRC and everything. So by the time we all sat down and really listened to them first, and then we kind of started to brainstorm and throw out ideas. So they have that master brainstorm list, and then she's going to come back to us with some type of an agenda. She works through Aspirus as well, and so it's kind of their mission also to outreach to the community. She doesn't want to use the pastor title because it's a title, and some people don't want religion mixed in. So she's going to shy away from using that title and just talk about grief, but through reading a book.
That's brilliant.
It is brilliant.
It's actually really
brilliant.
Exciting. It's one of those things that, it enables people to anchor their attention and their feelings on something external,
Yes.
which makes a bridge for them to be able to bring things that are inside out.
Yes.
It's actually brilliant.
It is brilliant, and it just had come to her, and just listening to the two of them feed off each other, it was enlightening. It's like, well, that makes so much sense. So like you said, the grief, it's through the book,
Right.
and then finding a book, and so right. And so they had.
Do you have a projected timetable? When do you think that we'll be able to bring that to fruition?
I think we were hoping June we could start. I don't hold me to that. We gave them kind of, some room to figure this out.
Mm-hmm.
But bottom line, sooner than later.
Yeah.
So they're going to be back in touch, and as soon as they are, I'll definitely share with everybody. But I think it was enlightening just being and listening to them brainstorm and go back and forth, and then the couple ideas that we may have had based on the grief groups that we have here and how difficult that is to get people in, and this was brilliant. I think brilliant is the right word for it. So we're really excited that they reached out to us
Yeah.
to be able to offer this. So then it's figuring out times too, timelines, when it works best for everybody. So we'll get to that when we get it. So very excited. That's
Excellent.
our new group offering.
Wow.
Yes. So hopefully sooner than later.
Cool. All right, that brings us to the free-for-all part, which is general discussion. Is there any item not on the agenda that somebody would like to bring up?
Ooh, kind of quiet.
Means we've either stunned everyone into complicity or bored them into complacency.
One of the two. One of the two. There's very few times that we have a short, sweet meeting, honestly. But it when there's not a lot going on, and
Jean has an editorial comment about the newsletter.
shoot, did we miss something?
No, it seems like there's been a substitution of an image.
Oh,
And-
like the bunnies?
Yeah,
Bunnies.
and
The bunnies.
I'm told that the actual staff pictures are better.
Could you please talk to them? Because I'm not just putting my mug in the front of that thing. I need my people.
I like the bunnies.
I do too.
Well,
This is the
I
last.
would-
I was trying not to be insolent about the big ears, about the middle name there.
And she's
I
the
do
biggest
have big
one, the
ears.
tallest one. Yeah.
I actually do.
See, if I were there, I'd be
But
like
see, the
telling
others
the
get,
grass.
it's one ear folded, they don't listen to her
Right.
some of the
Oh,
time.
I didn't even
Yeah, they do
notice
the
that.
la la la. Yeah, exactly. But I do promise you that in Mays there's gonna be a picture because they're not giving them a choice. But you might want to mention.
See, what we'll do is if we're taking
That's right, the
photographs of the
leprechauns
committee.
in March.
Right.
Yeah.
We're doing
Yeah.
committee
This is Vicky
photos.
Lyons.
Right,
down
we
on the
don't, we
job.
just need
Uh-huh.
for, almost
Stephanie,
like a
just a
screen
little
test.
shrimp.
We need
Yes.
them to help
Here's
get the
Tammy.
distance.
Yes.
Here's
Yes.
the Kimbo.
Yeah, focal
The,
distance.
you know,
The tough
Good
thing
job.
is, now that you mention that, we're gonna have to try to figure out
I won't
before
be here
our
then.
meeting, when we're gonna get because we print these sometimes timeline-wise. I'm gonna have to make sure we get our photo in before our meeting.
Who can be absent at the next meeting, so.
No.
You already claimed that one.
I knew what she was gonna say.
I've given up on being the I don't care anymore.
We should be good.
Just Photoshop
I
everybody
hope.
in.
Excellent.
Yeah, because see, we usually publish by the end of
Sure.
this week or beginning of this week for the next month,
You
so
have to.
we might have to do
There's
I
no
know.
rush.
a drop-in gathering.
We might need cardboard cutouts of the
No.
committee. And just stamp them and then take a picture of the cutouts.
Right,
So you're not
right.
getting out of it this
We
easy.
may, I'll throw out a couple stop-in dates for a photo.
There you go.
See what everybody can do, so we can all be in one. You all can be in one picture. I gotta shenanigans with these guys, so. Okay, so committee picture. I'm gonna make sure that we get that. Okay.
And what's the purpose of that?
To show an attractive committee members.
Yes.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Right.
That's-
So people know who to go to if they have any questions.
At least we had small ears.
I could try to find one of those for y'all.
Yeah, that's right.
We all
You
have to
know-
wear bunny ears.
Yeah.
I want one of the flop over. So I'm a little bit, anything else that somebody wants to bring up? I must admit, I'm a little befuddled by this agenda where it says adjournment 3:15, because I'm not there.
Right.
So,
She's almost
You're
there.
doing
She
the.
said
you-
so what would you like me to talk about for 20 minutes?
Well,
Sally?
we have 5 minutes because he needs to go.
See, I'm doing my best for you. Let's see, is there anything else?
Any exciting bus trips planned?
Yeah, I'm trying to, good job.
Did we
That
talk about
not-
that health thing?
Yeah, Stephanie,
And
we're still in the
here,
brainstorming
what
of it.
else
She's
thing?
starting to organize all of the bus trips. So that's a good question because
No, I
that's
thought we
definitely
got rid
on the forefront. I believe she was approached by probably some of the quilting ladies and such that they already have their wish list for the summer and spring, summer fall.
For trips.
Yes, for trips. So she's getting those organized, and then we're gonna start, our lunch buses have not been doing well at all.
I believe that.
So we're trying to
I
find
think-
something different.
I think a winery again.
Oh, yeah,
Why
yeah.
do you think that
Yep.
they have dropped off? You
In the
see-
lunch bus? I don't know, it's just, and I've never gone, and I don't know why I'm saying that, it's just, it didn't spin my wheels, I guess.
Well, and we mainly targeted the people who live at, in.
Senior centers.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
the towers
Yeah,
and Stonebridge and
yeah,
everything,
yeah.
because they may not drive.
Right.
And they used to ask us, let's go to lunch at 2510, or let's go to lunch up in
Ah.
Tomahawk, because we can't drive up there.
Right.
So that was our core. Well, now all of a sudden it's shrinking, and I do believe the cost of going out to eat lunch is
Yes.
also a factor.
Yes.
Mhm.
It's no
Yes.
longer, you can pay
Does it
$5
cost
to
them
come
for
on the
the
lunch
trip
bus.
and
And for
Yes,
lunch, right,
yes,
right.
Yeah.
exactly. So it's kind of twofold, but yeah, just like anything, you run something for so many years and then it just kind of fizzles and you have to think of something new and creative. So,
That's right.
but winery sounds good. That was a popular one last year.
Yeah.
Mullins cheese.
Mullins.
Et
Oh,
cetera.
Wine and cheese.
yeah.
And gin.
The young man who made fish here went over well
Oh,
too.
What was that?
Oh, when Randy did fish.
Made fish, yeah.
boils.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
think he does that.
No, he doesn't, but
He
we've
doesn't.
tried to find other people to do that.
No.
No luck. So if you know of anybody who would be willing to do that and have them come here, that would definitely be a draw for the people.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they can take the bus over too.
Right.
So, and that's affordable. Yeah.
Has Ed Insurance do that kind of stuff?
Mhm.
No.
I mean, you've got the food trucks, but you can get those almost anywhere.
Yeah.
Right, that's true. That's
They're not as
true.
much as, not as exciting as they used to be.
Right,
You know.
right, exactly.
But-
Yes, but if anybody thinks of, anything where like that when he used to do those fish boils, that was really super popular.
It's different.
It was different. So, yeah, kind of keep your eyes and ears open for that.
Any update on the health fair? Anything? Is the Spirish doing anything that?
I have to be honest, I haven't.
Okay.
I spent so much time for a couple of years trying to get that going, and so, yeah, I kind of stepped away from it for a minute, focused elsewhere.
Great. Well, seems like we've
We got the 3 o'clock.
covered everything we need to for today. Gives us a month reprieve, and we can enjoy the spring weather.
I move we adjourn.
Seconded.
Okay.
All in
So
favor?
we got Jay.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?